non-controversial by city staff. Consent items will be considered first and may be approved by one motion if no member of the council or audience wishes to comment or ask questions. If comment or discussion is desired by anyone, the item will be removed from the consent item and will be considered in listed sequence with an opportunity for a member of the public to address the city council concerning the item before action is taken. Staff recommendations are shown in caps. Okay. Is there any audience or oral?
We're going to take a vote.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's correct. I'm coming in hot. I apologize. Standard practice. Okay.
Ask the audience if anybody wants anything removed.
Thank you. Is there anyone from the audience who'd like something removed from the consent items? Councilman?
Motion to approve consent as presented.
Second.
Councilmember Chung?
Yes.
Councilmember Davies?
Yes.
Councilmember Smith?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Power?
Yes.
4-0 vote, motion carried.
All right. Do we have any comments from the audience? Oral or written? Not for this item? Okay. All right. Oops. So then we go to the city clerk reports, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Mayor Pro Tem and Council. The Tehachapi City Council will need to appoint one member to the Tehachapi Valley Recreation and Park District Board, DVRPD, to fill the vacancy created by Board Member Marianne Pacello's expiration of term. The appointment will fill a 4-year term, which is set to expire on February 2nd, 2029. All applicants needed to be residents of the city of Tehachapi. We did receive one application, and that was again from Marianne Pacello. So Marianne, I believe, is here. If you'd like to come up and say anything.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me here today. I've been serving on the board of a board member for the Tehachapi Valley Recreation and Park District now for 4 years. Last year I was elected to be the board chair, and I thoroughly enjoyed that position. We just came from our board meeting right now, and I'm here to ask for your support once again to be on the board, to work with Corey, and to just keep doing the great things that we're doing for the city.
If the council has any questions, you're welcome to ask.
Any more questions?
No, I think you're doing a great job, and I appreciate your service to our community.
Thank you.
As well. And I'll make the nomination that we put her back in for
Okay.
another
We don't
term.
need a second on that.
Okay.
So we'll go ahead and open nominations. You gave us our nomination. So we'll go ahead and take a vote on that. Councilmember Chung?
Yes.
Councilmember Davies?
Yes.
Councilmember Smith?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Power?
Yes, and you're doing a great job, so we're excited
Thank
to
you.
have you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your
Congratulations.
support. I have to excuse myself. I have another meeting to go to, but thank you so much for your support tonight.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Mayor Pro Tem, can I say something real quick? Marianne, thank you very much for your service. You left a meeting volunteering, you came here, you're volunteering, and I have a feeling you're going to another meeting volunteering. But she's been a key part of the success, continuing at TVRPD. She had mentioned that she was the chairwoman last year, did a great job with those, working with Corey, working with Key and the city, and it was a great 4 years, and I'm looking forward to the next 4 years and beyond. So thank you.
Thank you, Greg.
Yeah.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
Everybody.
All right, we have another set of nominations here for you for the Planning Commission appointment. So due to the resignation of Commissioner Charles White, the Tehachapi City Council will need to consider appointing one member to the Tehachapi Planning Commission. The appointment will only go through January 30th, 2025. At that point, we will bring it back again. So we received 2 applications, one from Kelly Ann Ryan and the other from Barbara Miner. Kelly Ann, are you here if you'd like to come say something?
All right, well, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. I thought I would just tell you a little bit about myself, my history with Tehachapi. I am proud to say I am a Tehachapi Warrior, class of '94, the Warriors. But after graduating high school, I moved away for quite a while, and I had the opportunity to live in a lot of different places across the world, across the United States. But as you all know, Tehachapi has a special way of bringing you back, and so I was pleased to move back here a couple of years ago. And what that means is that I've had the opportunity also to see the town grow and to see what the City Planning Commission has a hand in helping with that positive growth of our community and our town. And my dear friend Corey suggested that I consider this as a way for me to become more involved in my community. I love this town. I walk almost every day, 3 miles around the city, and I enjoy it. I take lots of pictures of it, and it's just a beautiful place, as you all know. So taking this step, I think, is a really awesome way for me to become more involved in this community that I love. I'd also see this as an opportunity to get my foot in the door for future involvement in the city, maybe city council at some point in time. But I would love your support and consideration for this position, and I will do my best to bring positive influence to the City Planning Commission. So thank you all for your time and consideration.
Any questions, Kelly?
I know that you're a project manager. What type of a project manager are you?
Right, so I work for a staffing company. So many of you in your careers have maybe worked with a temp staffing agency, either at companies hiring people, or yourself may have been a temp at one point in time. And so for that company, I help set up the new customers that come to us and say, hey, Manpower, we need temp staffing. And there's a lot of operational bits that are involved in getting customers set up. So I do that all remotely. It's a very operational position. It requires me to understand all of our systems, policies. It also requires I know a lot about California employment law, which is so exciting. But I think I actually believe that the work that I do in needing to understand the go, no-go items when we're setting up a new customer would actually lend itself really well to the Planning Commission and all of the rules and regulations that we would follow with that.
Very good. Does anyone here have some questions?
And you're a graduate of Tehachapi High School?
Yes, sir.
And grew up here?
Yes, I did.
Yes.
I moved here in 6th grade, so I don't know whatever year
That
that
counts.
was.
That's a long
That counts.
time.
I don't get to go to the old timers picnic just yet. I got a few more years to go before I can do that.
Yeah.
We all have goals.
I know, exactly. It's at the top of the list.
Hannah, did you have any questions? Okay. I think I'm good. Are you good?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you, Kelly.
Anything else? All right, thank you guys so much.
All right, Barbara Minor?
Hi. Thanks for having me. I feel like I'm more nervous than your other candidate. But, yeah, just a little introduction for me. But also, I don't think you could go wrong, right? You've got two great candidates here who really love your city and love our city, love Tehachapi. If I bring anything different to the table, it's that I've had working experience throughout my adult life in Kern County. It's given me a chance to work with local politicians, understand the workings of cities, but also counties, also nonprofits, and I have had the opportunity, I'll say, to work in what I call every sector, right? I have really and truly a broad base of experience, and I bring that knowledge to every team that I work with. I know that I represent really and truly a lot of your stakeholders, many who may in fact be otherwise underrepresented. So I've lived in Tehachapi quite a while, and I do of course love it here. So if you have any questions for me, feel free to ask.
I see that you have a lot of great experience, and you, like you said, a huge wheelhouse of skills. What do you feel is your strongest skill set?
Thank you. It doesn't come across really on paper very well, but I think my strongest skill is in valuing relationships. You can be good at a lot of things that are paper driven, a lot of things that are, more statistics and process, and I am good at those. But relationships are really what I value and where my strong suits lie. I've been thinking through, like, how would I handle, an upset person if we're really supposed to help field and go to bat for decisions made by the planning department with the planning commission, the city, then I'm really in practice to helping keep people calm and also feel heard.
Very good. Phil, Michael, do you have any questions?
Yeah, Barbara and I have spoken. I know Barbara and her willingness to serve, and I see the opportunity that we have. We have two great candidates. I appreciate both you, whatever decision we make tonight as a council. This is one of those tough decisions, you have to make as a member of the city council. You look at everything here. I've been looking at all week, the agenda, who's the best for the candidate for the position, but I appreciate both of you, your willingness to serve. That's how I got my, 6 years ago, I had no idea and I wanted to do this, and I ran for city council, so I do appreciate you. Barbara, I see a lot of the experience you've had. When you worked for Nicole Parr as a field rep, what was some of your things that you had to do?
I had to represent her at local meetings. She really was not in Kern County very often. Some of my favorite memories really are going to the GRC meetings with the chamber, and I don't know, I guess I was thinking through some of those things, but I don't have to bring up those experiences right now. Ask me later. And then I really appreciated doing the field work with regard to constituent casework. I really appreciated getting to know the inner workings of, like, the DMV code compliance. Actually, I had a lot of calls about that in Kern County. And then I've listed some other things, but I really liked being available to the public for her.
Thank you.
Hannah, did you have some questions?
Yeah, I would like to hear about your the dyslexic reading tutoring. Yes.
I went ahead and put that down because I did actually get paid for it. So a lot of my experience has been.
And this is very interesting.
Oh, that's great. I love talking about it. You can ask me more later. It's fine. So a lot of the times that I had to leave a career choice, a job, it was because my son, who's almost 22 now, is just severely dyslexic. So his, educational career is running parallel to my work career, and he never learned a thing in public school. So I would find myself leaving a job to teach him what he didn't learn during the school year. So I finally left to homeschool, actually. So I've been giving a lot of my time to my children, but also to it's a roundabout answer, I'm sorry, to the community in volunteering. I have a long list of people I've been helping pro bono these years, and then also, but dyslexic tutoring, essentially I had to put my son with a tutor that wasn't me, but followed under her to give back to other people. Before I lived in Tehachapi, this season in my life, I actually have an adult that I taught to read. He had a thriving career where it wasn't known that he couldn't read. But I love it. Do you want?
No, I was just curious that if you just pick one difference between the tutoring, the regular student versus dyslexic, what could be just one? I mean, how would you make it different?
Well, I'll tell you, my son, because he went through those 6 years in the public school, he was tested abundantly, and and I'm not unfamiliar with those testing measurements, but he had very low. I would say he's not traditionally dyslexic, right? Like, or what you're thinking of dyslexic, it's probably wrong. He was really, truly, thank you for your time, okay? I feel like I'm going on. He had a low phonemic memory, right? So not phonemic awareness, which is something slightly different, but phonemic memory, but a very high visual memory, very high. And so to have these unique patterns that in a dyslexic student, to have them feel valued for different talents is super important. So gosh, thank you for that question, honestly. I could go on.
I started volunteering when my son was in first grade and second grade. He could do like sixth grade math, but couldn't read. And so I ended up becoming a teacher because of that. So
Yeah.
I totally understand it.
So that's on my list of education. I went
saw
to do that. And then, you know, life took a different turn and I needed employment again. So that's where I became, you know, one of the right hands to the vice president at a wonderful company. But they, just throw that in there. But I will say, you know, my son is bilingual now.
Very good.
And yeah, he had a principal in 7th grade tell me, why should we do anything else about it? He's not going to college. And I said, let's see. So,
He can.
thank you. Really, thank you for your time. Do you have any other questions for me?
Anyone else? No. I think we're good.
Okay, before we move forward here, just to make sure if both candidates are nominated, you may only vote for one candidate, okay? So nominations are now open. Do I have a nomination?
I will nominate Ms. Barbara Minor.
Okay. You get an option?
And I'm going to nominate Kellyanne.
Okay, so nominations are now closed, so we'll now take a roll call vote on the nominees. So we'll start with the first nominee, Barbara Minor. Councilmember Chung,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Power,
No.
Councilmember Smith,
No.
Councilmember Davies.
Yes.
Okay.
I know.
For the nominee, Kellyanne Ryan, Councilmember Chung,
No.
Councilmember Power,
Yes.
Councilmember Smith,
Yes.
Councilmember Davies.
No.
Okay, so we'll do this one more time to see if so take a minute here, and in case anybody wants to change the vote, but we'll go ahead and go through the vote another time. So for Ms. Minor, Councilmember Chung,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Power,
No.
Councilmember Smith,
No.
Councilmember Davies.
No. Yes for minor.
Okay, so I think we're at a,
Well, Kellyanne, do her,
okay.
just in case.
Or around.
For Ms. Ryan, Councilmember Chung,
No.
Councilmember Power,
Yes.
Councilmember Smith,
Yes.
Councilmember Davies.
No.
Okay, so what we can do, we have 4 individuals, which is an even number, right? We're experiencing that now. By the way, the talent is amazing. Thank you both. I mean, I would not want to be in their seat right now. This is very awkward.
We don't have any losers in this
No.
contest.
And to think that
No.
we have such talent wanting to join the team, I'm flattered, and I know our staff is. I know Jay is probably ecstatic about this. But we can table this until we have a full 5 council. As you know, Mayor Joan Pogencourt has had knee replacement surgery. She's not making, there are no secrets about that. So she's going to be out for a while, right? Could be a couple meetings between now and then. We'll have 5. So essentially, what I'm hearing is that Joan may be the tiebreaker. So Jay will have 4 planning commissioners for the next meeting or 2, who knows, right? But we will bring this back at such time that Joan is able to attend a meeting, and we'll go through this process again, and we would invite both of the candidates to come back. I apologize, we couldn't make a decision tonight, but we'd like to be able to, you know, kind of go through this again, maybe a little abbreviated, if you will. I'll update Joan, Mayor Joan Pogencourt, where we are, and we want her to heal first and then come back. But it'll be at least 2 meetings from now, and we'll let you know both of the candidates, okay?
And my comment would be, thank you for being out here and putting yourself forward for the position. And a vote for saying no doesn't mean, it's just saying I lean toward one candidate over the other, so I had to say no on the other. So at some point we'll have a tiebreaker, and if you're not successful, don't give up. There's going to be other things that come up, that same position maybe, that don't. I started on the planning commission and a long time ago, and I didn't get it the first round. I was like the second time that I tried a year or so later. So
I'll be heavily campaigning between now and then.
No pressure, no pressure.
It's nerve-wracking getting up here and speaking about yourself in front of a group of people, and especially, I don't know why, I remember speaking for the city council for the first time when I was at the chamber, and you feel like you're in front of the principal's office at some points, and it can be intimidating, but we are really excited to see you both apply. And your resumes, both of you, were just unbelievable.
Yes.
And you both have something to bring, and either one will be phenomenal. But we have to follow the rules and have it unanimous.
And I think this would be most fair, having the full council versus a coin toss, or picking the shortest straw or the longest straw, or something like that. So, all right. It'll give us some more time if you need to speak with anyone.
We could set up a table here and you guys could arm wrestle for us. Well, wait a minute, you both are too eager, I'm sorry. I'll take that back.
Yeah, I agree with all the other council's comments that both candidates are very strong, and I am very impressed. And I am very appreciative of both of you applying for the position and your love for the community. And if not that, you wouldn't be here, so thank you.
Okay. Go on to the next item, which is
13. That resolves it?
13.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, community engagement director reports.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem Power, Council. Thank you. We wanted to announce this Maya Costa, who I had prepared the report for me. She is in TCTA play, and she has rehearsal tonight, so I said I'd step in for her because this is really a program that she's worked very hard on. We introduced it last year. It's Tehachapi's Extraordinary Women Recognition. We'll do this in March when it's Women's History Month. We did it last year. Last year we had a goal of selecting up to 3 women to recognize. We ended up with 5, and we were overwhelmed. And Mayor Pro Tem Power was a part of that selection committee, along with Maya Costa and myself. And Mayor Pro Tem Power, if you have the time, we'd be very much appreciative to be a part of that committee again.
I'm tremendously honored. Thank you, tremendously honored.
And I will tell you that we've received over 40 nominations so far.
Oh my gosh.
So this is something that was talked about a lot in the community, and we only released this just a little over a week ago, and received that many nominations this quickly shows that the community really supports this.
That's
so
incredible.
We just wanted to make you aware that this is out. There's already been some TV coverage of this event, and we're just excited to bring it back and recognize extraordinary women in our community. We just ask that they either live in the city of Tehachapi, work, or volunteer their time here. So they don't have to reside, but they need to do something, a nexus connected to the city. So we're excited to bring this back. And again, the goal is to recognize 3 women, but we'll never say never. We'll, as a committee, we'll come together and go over all the nominations. So happy to answer any questions, but it's just kind of let you know that this is out in the community right now.
How many applications did we have last year?
Let's say that we ended up, 42 is the number that pops into my head.
Wow.
Yeah, and we've already exceeded that, and we still have, I think, 3 weeks of nomination period still open.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah, so excited about the program.
Very good.
Thank you very much.
Okay. And were you going to follow up on the reindeer rush program?
Jessica Garner from my team is gonna.
Fantastic.
She ran this program, she did a fantastic job, and I think she should tell you everything that took place.
Yeah, thank you.
Good evening. So, a few meetings or so ago, I was here to launch Reindeer Rush. I am here tonight to tell you kind of the outcome of the Reindeer Rush. So this year, we launched Reindeer Rush on November 29th. It was designed to get the public into our small businesses. We had 28 businesses that participated, so 28 businesses on this cute little passport book that we made, where people could go in and get their stamp, find the reindeer, get their stamp, and then bring their passport book back to City Hall. All of these businesses had some sort of buy-in. They either had to provide a gift card or some sort of merchandise. We gave out over 200 passport books. And we had 4 locations where people could pick those up. 108 of the passport books were returned back to City Hall. Over 50% of those books had more than 20 stamps in them, which amazing, amazing outcome. We gave out 452 tickets to put in our pool to draw grand prizes. We were able to split up all of the prizes into 6 gift baskets. And the names we drew, every person that we drew was under 13.
Oh.
So there were 6 kids that got a gift basket with items from different stores and gift cards from different stores. After the scavenger hunt wrapped up, I went around and collected all the reindeer and stamps from all the businesses, talked to all the business owners. They were ecstatic. They loved it. They saw a boost in their sales. They saw a boost in people coming into their locations. 2 specifically, the House of Wax and the Kite Sweet Treats. They're kind of in obscure locations. They said that that helps people find where they were. Definitely something we want to continue for next year. A lot of the businesses definitely want to do it next year as well. We also got a lot of great feedback from the public. A lot of parents took their kids around town. A few of my coworkers even said they went into shops that they didn't know had so many cool things to buy and did a lot of their Christmas shopping in town as well.
Very good.
So.
Very good.
Oh, yes. There was roughly 2,129 visits. So I counted all the stamps and tallied them up from the 108 books.
Wow, that's great.
Because that was the best way to collect data.
That is fantastic.
Yeah, so definitely drove people into the businesses. And I mean, that's not counting, most of the passport books were kids. So that's not including like their parents or grandparents or family members that may have been with them that did not collect a stamp.
Yeah.
Well, that's outstanding. It's exciting to hear that the businesses want to support it again next year. And it's very clever, a clever way of promoting the downtown area in a nice, organic way.
Yes.
You know, so that's a fabulous event you put on. And I'm excited to see that next year. Will it be reindeers next year?
I think so.
Maybe a secret.
Right?
I can't stand secrets. I need to know.
I know. We have one business that was like, it would be cool if you did like a golden egg hunt throughout downtown. I'm like,
Well, have one this summer. You know?
Right? Yeah, a few of them said it would be nice to do more than one scavenger hunt a year. So.
Well, I like the idea, if I may,
Oh, please.
that it gets people out and into the community.
Mhm.
And because you don't know where every little business is. Just drive, if you're driving to a business to do something, you don't go up and down the boulevard, and not everyone's in the greatest location,
Yes.
you know? So just knowing that they're there, I think that's a very, very good program. So,
Yes.
okay, excellent.
Thank you.
Kudos.
Even my grown-up daughters, they came visited, and they read about this, and they said, "Mommy, it's so cool." And they said, "We should really support at least a few stores." So we went around a few, you know, they didn't have stay long enough to get that the scavenger hunt all the way, but they did, and they thought it was such a nice program. Yeah.
Great.
Michael, did you have anything you wanted to add?
No, my wife, we didn't participate in that program, but my wife took me to a couple stores I didn't even know was here. We were out doing some stuff, and she goes, "Hey, I'm gonna take you in the store." And then she hinted what she wanted me to buy her. So, so there was something, you know.
That's a hit sound.
Yeah,
like.
yeah.
Contributing.
I'm with that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's kind of amazing. You know, you're in town, and I'm all over this town and everything I do, and I didn't even know that store was there. So it's not something I would go into every day, but you know, the wife liked it, so that's the main thing.
So the two stores you specifically mentioned, they're brand new to Tehachapi, aren't they?
They're newer, yeah. So House of Wax, I think, has been around for 9 months, maybe not quite,
Right.
not a year. Kites has been there for probably a year-ish.
Okay.
So they're just in harder to find locations. So, yeah,
Well done.
thank you.
I'd like to thank Jessica. She put a lot of work into this, and we're talking about, yeah, it was a fun time for sure, scavenger hunt, but it was an economic driver. You got people to go into stores, you know, like you just said, visiting a store that they've never been inside. Maybe they bought something, so they're supporting that small business, but also supporting the tax revenue coming into the city so that we can continue to provide, you know, public safety and repave our roads and, you know, all the things that we do. So we're really happy that Jessica took the lead, literally took the lead on this and seized the moment, and we plan on doing it again. I think golden egg would be great for Easter.
Right?
Just throwing it out
there.
Yeah.
Well, and one last thing, you did a great job marketing too, the video
Oh,
of you
yeah.
and your sons going around and doing the little bingo books.
Yep,
You really put a lot of
my
time
boys
into
were
it.
unsure about being videoed, but then Maya brought out the drone and they were like, okay, yeah, we're good. We're good.
Well, excellent job.
Thank you.
Excellent job.
Thanks, Jessica.
Okay, Development Services Director reports.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and council members. I've got a series of items for you this evening. Almost said this morning, that's how my day's been going. So the first item up for you is the Tucker and Highline Roundabout Project, a memorandum of understanding with the Kern County Public Works Department. So as you all will recall, hopefully back in the middle of 2023, the City Council, working in collaboration with Kern County Public Works, we went after a CMAQ, or Congestion Mitigation Air Quality grant through Kern Council of Governments to improve the intersection of Tucker and Highline. What first brought this issue up is collaboratively the two engineering departments between the city and county recognized the need to make an improvement there for safety and efficiency standpoint reasons. And so then we began kind of exploring different engineering options and believe that a roundabout is an effective solution in that particular location. And so since then we've been advancing the project in different portions. And so one of the components of that is, after having received the grant, is we need to solidify the relationship with the County of Kern for how we're going to cost share and execute the project. So that's the item for you tonight. So again, we give you a brief description of the project there, but it's at, again, the intersection of Highline and Tucker. It's a four-way stop now. It would be improved to a roundabout. Really the only two choices were a traffic signal or a roundabout in terms of improving to meet the needs of the improvements necessary, and both parties, primarily because it's a commuter route and a lot of folks are traveling in and out of the community on Highline, the idea for a roundabout felt both safer and more efficient. And so while a more expensive option than a traffic signal, that was the reason why the engineering team unanimously agreed that this was the appropriate solution. So they are, again, more expensive, but again, through the grant program, we're able to bring the cost down dramatically. So tonight, the request will be that you enter into an MOU with Kern County that the city attorney helped us draft. Both parties expect to use their traffic impact fee monies, so we collect fees from developments for improvements to roadways and intersections, and the county has a matching program. We have a joint program. Hopefully you guys remember adopting that last year. The total project estimate stands at about $3.8 million. We're required to match collectively 11.5% roughly of that, which is $432,000. And then we had a proposed split between the city and county because the county owns 3 legs of that intersection and we own 1 leg. We agreed upon a 35-65% split, with the county paying the larger share. So the city's cost at this point is estimated to be $139,000, more or less, to execute the project. That's pretty good bang for your buck.
Yes,
To spend
it
that
is.
money in traffic funds and get a $3.8 million project. So I recommend that you approve the memorandum of understanding between the City of Tehachapi and the County of Kern for the Tucker Road and Highline Road roundabout, and then you authorize the mayor to sign the MOU. Last thing is the county expects to bring this to the Board of Supervisors the week of the 28th. I think it's a week from now. The 28th is a week from now. Yep. So that concludes my report.
Okay.
Questions from the audience?
Thank you. I was just about to say, are there any questions from the audience?
We do have a gentleman, James Willem, that would like to speak on this.
Thank you for reminding me, Greg.
Is that my cue? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, my name is James Wilhelm, and I moved here in January of 2003 from Orange County, and I live on Highline, about a quarter-mile west of the intersection there. Before I get too far, though, I wanted to mention one thing. The airport realignment of the taxiway, it's great. It's really nice, and I want to congratulate the city and especially Ashley for doing the project. Back to Highline and Tucker. When I first moved here, it was a two-way stop, and that was dangerous. And then it was a four-way stop, which is what it is now. I go through that intersection multiple times a day sometimes, and also when I go to work in Mojave. I think one of the problems, or the problem that's caused a lot of accidents, is that there's no enforcement. I shouldn't say no. Once in a while I've seen a highway patrol there, and I know that that's their jurisdiction. It's not the city, part of the city. So that's a safety thing. It's not enforced. The roundabout, it's a great idea, but I think roundabouts, from my experience, they encourage aggressive driving. We have a lot of aggressive driving already on the roads, passing illegally, speeding. I see it in front of my house all the time. Anyway, I think it's a bad idea. I think a full signal would be a better idea. With left turn arrows on Highline, but on Tucker, I don't think you need it. Anyway, that's my assessment, and I've been driving in California since 1964, I think, yeah. Questions?
Sounds like a familiar age.
Any questions?
No.
Well, yeah.
No.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Council, do you have any questions?
Any other audience? Or is that-
Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
I have questions to Jay.
I'm sorry, I skipped a step. Anyone else in the audience who has questions?
All right.
Okay.
I have a question for Jay.
Okay,
All
we've
right.
got questions for you, Jay.
All right.
All right. A signal is going to cost about 150?
No, they're a lot more now.
200, 300?
No, 450, something like that,
Still,
500.
a lot less than a roundabout.
Yeah,
But
in
we're
this
seeing-
case, well, if you want to do left turns as proposed by Mr. Wilhelm, it would be more like $1 million, $1.5 million, because you have to do a lot of paving to
Yeah.
widen an intersection. Just putting in the signal arms is $400 to $500, and then if you're widening to put in turning motions, then you're doing pavement 200 to 300 feet in each direction. So.
And
it's more
of that,
expensive.
we would be paying a much larger amount of the project.
Yeah, these.
This is being approved.
Well, I'd lose this grant. You know, I can't change, I can't go back,
Right.
because the metrics by which we won the grant is based upon both congestion value and air quality value, both of which are unique to roundabouts or traffic signals, and I could gloss your eyes over if you really want to be bored to death with the details of how that works, but I'd lose this grant. We would have to go back and reapply in a future cycle for a different direction in this case. So, yeah, that would be.
So my comment is that it's a good use of the amount of money we're going to get and for the amount we're going to have to pay.
Yeah.
We're getting a $3.8 million project. You're seeing them a lot going in all over the place, out on 46 or 43. In some of these places, it's not necessarily a freeway, but where there's enough traffic and they're very efficient.
Yeah, a couple of thoughts, if that's the question, is traffic signals require more regular maintenance, which is why you're seeing them favored in more rural areas, because agencies like Caltrans don't want to pay power bills or deal with them. But the primary reason that we debated this in the engineering team. I think I've shared this back when we were asking you for permission to seek this grant, was the relative speed difference between Highline and Tucker. Vehicles traveling Highline are going at a high rate of speed. Vehicles traveling on Tucker tend to be going at a very low rate of speed because they're almost never going straight through the intersection, they're making a turn. And so when you get a situation where you have high speed and low speed, you have when you have an accident, they're severe, versus roundabouts which force all legs to slow down but never stop, theoretically, unless they're very intensely populated, which this one we don't expect to be. And so everyone slows down and they're forced to veer off of their path, and so they tend to slow down. Doesn't mean you get fewer accidents, but the severity is statistically dramatically less than a T-bone type incident, which we have seen a few accidents in that intersection over the last 10 years or in that area that are high rate of speed, people intoxicated, and while enforcement absolutely can help in those situations, you got to have somebody there on Highline at the moment. That drunk driver is going too fast. That's just the logic that the engineering team applied when making this decision. So hopefully that helps you with this decision.
And it does meet the needs of CMAQ funds are congestion mitigation and air quality.
Correct.
So when people are approaching and they're not just sitting there idling, waiting for a light, they're approaching and merging around.
Correct.
So it's a very efficient way of using the speed differentials, and it's reducing air quality.
And we didn't study this, but my intuition is, born out of 20 years of doing this, is that a signal would actually make it worse. And the reason is because most of the traffic, again, is going straight through the intersection east to west. And right now, it backs up when you have just a handful of cars on Tucker. Now everybody has to stop and wait that one turn. Well, if you go to a traffic signal, that one car pulls up and triggers the traffic signal, and now all that traffic east-west is waiting for that 2-minute cycle, or that 40, even shorter ones, 45 seconds to a minute and a half to 2.5 minute cycle to run the whole cycle of giving everyone their green and their red, which I think will actually reduce the efficiency of traffic through that intersection, meaning there'll be longer wait times, the level of service will get worse. So again, growth in traffic volume results in us having to make safety improvements. So then you have to make a decision, which safety improvement is most efficient for each individual location. And I'm not a believer that roundabouts belong in every intersection, but I think they belong in certain intersections, and this is one of them. So again, that's our opinion. That was the logic we applied.
Okay, thank you, Jay.
Anna, did you have a question?
Yeah, I had a question,
Okay.
but you answered
Okay.
actually. I was gonna ask, what triggers for this kind of project that the CMEG is able to, grant
Yeah.
the money, but you answered the congestion value as well as the traffic,
Safety
the
value.
air quality value. But my comment is, I think, first I kind of was, it's like, why roundabout? Because I am not a big fan of
Sure.
roundabout, especially because, anyways. However, I think for the future growth, that it accommodates.
Yeah.
It will really accommodates for the future growth of the town, and that will make the safer intersections, so.
That's our opinion as well.
Did you have any questions,
Yeah.
Michael?
No, I was talking to somebody earlier about this. I had one of my daughters move to Summerlin in Las Vegas, and they have those all over. And I tell you, once you get used to it, it's pretty slick.
I was going to say, is she in or out? Yeah, because
Yeah,
I
no.
found most people that are around them for a while, they go,
Yeah.
oh, and they kind of change their opinion.
They
about
just
it.
get through it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not sitting there waiting.
Yeah.
And I agree with Mr. Wilhelm about the traffic on Highline is crazy, the enforcement. And to be honest with you, today's drivers, and I'll probably get in the paper for saying this, but I think when you put a stoplight, I think it encourages these idiot drivers we have out there today to run them. I don't think people don't pay attention. And it's sad. So I really like the roundabout idea, people going from east to west. I turn off at Tucker,
Yeah.
and there's a backup, even with the stop sign there, I could be 5 or 6 cars when I was working
Yeah.
to wait, and so everybody's taking their time. But what my experience with the roundabout being in Vegas, going to seeing that, and then I was just in Wasco, or they put one at David Road and 166.
Mm-hmm.
And I just noticed that one the other day. We went to Pismo, and that made it kind of slick.
Yeah.
Because that's another one you have to stop in. And so I kind of like it, you know, but you're not going to get away from the drivers that don't want to obey the law. So I don't care how much enforcement you have out there. So.
It's pretty hard to take them fast.
Yeah.
You need to slow down at a roundabout.
Yeah.
Somebody will
Otherwise you're gonna
try,
have
it'll,
suspension
you know, I'm not gonna
issues.
say it won't happen, but it's hard to do, you know, yeah, so.
Do you have any idea how many cars go through that intersection on a daily basis?
I don't have it on me.
Okay, that's okay.
So,
I was just curious what the
yeah,
numbers were.
We do have the count information, it would be in the application, so, yeah.
A bunch.
A bunch,
Yeah.
yeah.
There's heavy east-west.
Right, well, we're
And the
community.
county has another roundabout in the queue. They were actually going to build it this summer, intersection of Fair Valley and Cummings Valley Road, there at the nursery and Cummings Valley School. I know they've had some delays, so they'll probably pick that project up again in the next year or two. But you look at all, you know, new master plan communities, these beautiful areas that are being built up, you know, across the nation, they're all going to roundabouts. And we think they're very efficient, but you need to know how to use them. There will be a learning curve, no doubt. And Chief will be working with CHP and others. We've talked about it. It's in the queue. Like Chief supports this project, and so does CHP. And so we want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to keep people safe, get home, and be efficient in their travels.
Well, I think in general, Tehachapi drivers are pretty courteous. As a matter of fact, you can kind of tell. You can tell when somebody honks their horn, they must be visiting. You know, so I think that it will take time. I lived in Europe for several years. It takes a bit. It's not a big deal. New England is filled with them. My dad used to yell, yield means yield, not stop. So if you could put that up. But I think that once people get the hang of it.
It's the learning curve piece.
It's a learning curve.
Yeah.
And I do appreciate you explaining the impact of an accident. It makes more sense. The lower momentum reduces the fatality
Yeah.
potentially. And I hadn't taken that into consideration. I was just thinking
Yeah.
about the efficiency. So that was an unintended consequence that's a good one, I think. So no more questions?
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve.
And I will second.
Councilmember Chun?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Power?
Yes.
Councilmember Smith?
Yes.
Councilmember Davies?
Yes.
4-0 vote, motion carried.
Good. The next item I have for you is the 24-25 Measure S pavement rehabilitation project notice of completion. If I could just get you guys to advance a couple pages to the diagram, that's mostly just wanted to, well, I don't know, take a victory lap here. We completed this paving project, and it's time for us to issue a notice of completion. So as part of this project, we improved the roads that are indicated there in red, and then a number of alleyways that are in the downtown area as well. The project was successful. So you entered into that contract with Bowman Asphalt for this project, and we completed our walkthrough just about a month ago or so, Dylan. And so it's time for a notice of completion to be recorded. So in this case, it's information only, but I just wanted to tell you, I hope you've had a chance to go out and take a look. I for one, you guys can tell me what you saw or what you liked or didn't like, but I thought what we did up in Arabian Estates
Yes.
was pretty exceptional. I mean, I don't think I've done a lot of paving in my life, and I don't think I've seen that big a transformation of how it made the whole neighborhood feel different. Just by those roads were terrible, and they
Yeah.
really needed to work.
They've
So,
waited a long time,
Yeah.
you know, and they're out a ways from, you know, just like the businesses that are out of the way, you know.
Yeah.
They don't get noticed.
Well, it's an
So-
old county pocket that was asked to be annexed into the city a number
Yeah.
of years before my time, and
Yeah.
so those are always tough nuts to crack, right?
Yeah.
Because we're getting something that was built under a different set of kind of rules. But
Have you had feedback from them?
I have not. Don, I don't know. Have you heard?
We did get some feedback when we were walking the neighborhood
Yeah.
for the inspection and
Good feedback,
yeah,
or?
it's positive.
Yeah, I drove out there and it was really
Yeah,
great.
feedback
I
is
just didn't get a
different.
chance to see anybody, so it's a nice little neighborhood
I
though.
was out there one day when they were paving, and there were a couple cars that went by, and they were doing this. So I
That's
think that's a
it.
vote of confidence.
Yeah. So, do we have Measure S signage saying that what we're doing? We should do this.
Okay.
Because the voters said, we appreciate the opportunity to help pave, help with the police department, other things that we're doing.
So
We need to, just like on the freeway, this is your tax dollars at work, SB, whatever, you know? So we need a sign that we could put up at different locations
Okay, so
And-
noted. We've definitely done that before. We've done plenty of projects where the grant terms require us to do that. My favorite sign is right here. He communicates well for us, but your thoughts on?
One thing that we've been doing since the measure passed is my team, and Maya in particular, is out showing video.
I see the videos as well.
So we've kind of modernized the approach of getting the information to the community by using digital communications, creating videos, talking about on the podcasts, versus putting up temporary signs. For me, there's a little bit of a cost differential, putting up signs, maintaining them, making sure they don't have graffiti and things like that, versus the community outreach that we do. But, I mean, that's the approach that we've taken.
Yes.
I would add to that. So this is the second year that we've been fortunate enough. Thank you again to the voters. We could not do this level of work without Measure S funds, right? In a couple years, we're gonna have touched every street in the city of Tehachapi.
And alley.
And that, in alley. And so that means signs on every corner, right? We don't want that.
No.
But
I'm saying during
certainly-
construction.
Oh, during construction?
Yes,
oh,
that's all.
oh.
Like when we're out there, we got this stuff going. Say,
Yeah,
this
sure.
is your tax dollars at work, but we don't need one at the every completed street. Because
No,
like you say,
yeah.
we're getting Maya's out there and she's in her hard hat, she's telling
It's
us what
another
we're
way
doing.
to reach the public.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
the person driving down the street, oh yeah, I saw that on the video.
We can do that.
Yeah, we've done it before.
And,
Yeah.
they could be sandwich signs, whatever you want, that we put up for the next round.
It could be, I think it could be the same sign, just make a nice sign,
Yeah.
because it doesn't have to state that, but this area or something, this fact
Your tax
has been
dollars.
used
Yeah.
by your tax dollars.
Well, if the
Oh, okay.
If the council says, yeah, let us take that back. We're not, we're getting, this is off topic, but, we're preparing the 25-26 Measure S program that's ready, that we're preparing to go to construction this summer with. And so, yeah, let Dawn and I take that back, and we'll see if we can find a good spot
Sure.
to, where maybe a sign on
Maybe
that
one
project.
of those message boards.
Yeah.
Or something. We'll look at it.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
figure
That's a
something
good
out.
suggestion.
It can be a little difficult because a lot of these streets are residential
Yeah.
streets. Actually, the vast majority of them are residential. We don't want to put up signs in people's front yards, but we can figure out a way to do that.
Yeah, let's think about it. Okay.
So I know this is for information
Yes.
only, but did anyone in the audience have a question? No? Okay.
We actually have a three-pronged approach to this, so we'll thank Jay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask Dawn to come up to the podium, but in the meantime, we have a short video that I wanna show. And it's something that Maya put together. I'm gonna talk over it as we go, and then Dawn's gonna talk a little bit about what our plan is for this summer season for asphalt.
All right.
So this was done by Maya and Key's team and using our drone. Only about 45 seconds or something. This is the Antelope Run. You see some cracks there, but this summer we repaved that or re-slurried it. This is downtown. That was the bike path earlier. Pickleball courts, of course, that were put in this last year. That's a ribbon cutting for Valley Park. Very excited about that. Some kids playing on the five-a-side court. We did a lot of work out at the wastewater treatment plant. That's our clarifier that's empty, being kind of redone, reestablished, and then some of the grind and overlay projects. That is downtown. Looks like they're on Robinson. That's Cherry Street. And this is, I believe, F Street downtown. So we did a lot of different projects. That's our Archimedes screw that we replaced at the wastewater treatment plant. That was a big project led by Tyler Napier and the guys there. A lot of crack sealing, right? You have to keep the moisture out of underneath the asphalt, so we did a lot of crack sealing. That's Antelope Run again after our guys were actually slurry sealing it and sealing all of that asphalt. So airport, we talked about this many times, city council meetings, but the dirt there you see, the base, the orange, that is the base. That's the new taxiway location. That's the actual asphalt that was put on top of that base. So this video was taken a couple months ago, but right now the contractor is doing the punch list, which means they're very, very close to being completely completely done. And then our beautiful water tower, of course, we had a local painter redo the signs there on the water tower. We're going to be redoing the historic downtown signs on Tucker, the Summit, and Mill Street in the next several months. So we're going to be repainting those. Those are almost 20 years old, Phil. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
And
Wow.
they're just beautiful. So we,
We started Main Street way back.
Yeah, and we used redevelopment funds to design and pay for those signs. So some really good stuff is happening, in large part because of Measure S, for sure. But I wanted Dawn to touch on a little bit on what we have planned again for the summer. A lot's in the queue. We'll see what we can afford. What, you know, we bid things out, as you know. But Dawn, if you would, take us through what's planned for the summer.
Yeah, love to. Jay kind of teed it up, but we're finishing up the final touches on our design for the 2025-26 paving work. We've talked about this a little bit in the past, but some of the work associated with Measure S monies on that this year's paving work is we're talking about repaving Denison over in front of the event center. That portion of the road is horrible.
Yeah.
Also Denison from Tehachapi Boulevard to Georgia Street, all the way there. That asphalt is really bad as well. We've just recently, the project engineering is completing the curb gutter and sidewalk there. We put some new asphalt down, but we're gonna go in and replace the rest of it with Measure S dollars for that. And then a huge accomplishment will be replacing the basically all the streets on the north side of the railroad tracks, between the railroad tracks and the airport. H Street, I Street, J Street, North Curry, North Hayes, North Robinson, North Mojave, North Davis, and then also Curry Street from C Street to Valley. So from right here on Curry to Valley Boulevard, that will be completely rebuilt. The crown of the road will be changed. We're actually going to be tearing that out and changing the profile there. And then replacing asphalt from Valley to Clearview as well, just a couple of blocks there on Valley. So, and then of course, we'll continue with our program of redoing the alleys. We expect to finish all the remainder of the alleys in downtown, so including the north side. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
This year?
This year.
Okay.
With the Measure S.
Those are going very well. I've gone down the alleys. If I see someone, they love it. You
Yeah.
just talk to them. It's just an improvement, you know, because like especially on the north side when it's just turned to, there is no pavement anymore. So.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a big accomplishment getting those done, and you can really tell.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's Measure S dollars. We do plan on, or we have a project also we're working on finishing up engineering design on with RSTP grant funds. So that's the remainder of Valley from Beach to Tucker. So we'll be grinding that out and replacing asphalt on that portion of the road. I think we've talked a little bit about that.
That's this year too?
That's this year, this
Wow.
summer as well.
That's going to be.
Yeah, so all of that work is this summer. If you want to talk about next year a little bit, give you a teaser and maybe make a plug for
sure
the work that we have planned for next year. So this would be 2026/27 fiscal year. We're talking about finishing off E Street from Curry all the way to Snyder, D Street from Mill Street all the way to the park, Carroll Way, the entire length, Polly Street, the remainder of that, Polly Court, all of A Street and B Street, doing all of that, again, Measure S dollars for that. And that's about $1 million worth of work that we're estimating. We're also talking about with using SB1 funds. SB1 is a portion of gas tax that comes to us every year. We save that up and then we use that for preventive maintenance on streets. That's slurry seal primarily. And so we're talking about all of the streets in the Alta development that, not the ones we're just installed, but all the older streets that have been up there. And then again, RSTP funds next year as well, doing Mulberry. It's a smaller project, but Mulberry there from Tehachapi Boulevard to the park, Westmore.
Great.
So again, lots planned, and really, it shows.
It does.
It really does
It
show,
really does.
and people appreciate it, I can tell.
At that point, then you do the maintenance over streets that are in good condition versus it's very expensive to do it now when it's a tear out. Like on Denison, that's probably gonna be a tear out, regrind and get it, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
Fix
absolutely.
the base and then start over. So.
Yeah, you know, you can, with the preventive maintenance that we've been doing, we can extend the life of these from 20 years to 50 years,
Yeah.
and have them still be a good, right in good condition.
And that's a reflection when you have visitors in your city. If your roads are torn up, you know, do I want to invest here with my business or that? But when your infrastructure is in good shape, your police department, your fire department, your city's running well, it all reflects highly on people who want to invest in our community.
I have a little story, if you don't mind.
Sure.
So I have been making the rounds, speaking to different organizations, kind of what we're talking about tonight, but a little slideshow about 2024, what the city accomplished, and kind of a peek into next year. I spoke at the Tehachapi Area Association of Realtors, TAR, last week. There were several, 60, 70, 80 people there. Great group, very engaged with what we were talking about. But at the end of the conversation, questions, of course, come up. So, gentlemen, he's the regional manager for First American Title. Didn't catch his name. But he lives in Tulare, and so Tehachapi is part of his region. And so he's fairly new to this area, last year or two. But he's been so impressed with the city of Tehachapi and how we're very organized, we're clean, we're efficient. Everything is just kind of in its place. He said he was here. He comes down here a couple times a year, I believe. He went back to his home in Tulare, and he started looking around at their city, their downtown. And he said, this is not good enough. He actually went to the city council meeting in Tulare and talked to them about Tehachapi. And his comment was, I want Tulare to look like Tehachapi.
Wow.
That's a big compliment.
Yeah.
That's a big compliment. So I wanted to share that with you. Also, Don, we have a small landscaping and beautification project on Denison over by the event center and rodeo ground. So we're going to take the opportunity to enhance that. WM has done a great job on their side. We're going to put in a new road here, and we have a beautification on the west side.
Yeah, we'll be adding new landscaping in front of the event center there, along that whole section of Denison, and then new fencing, 3-rail wood fencing, similar to, or the same that's on Tehachapi Boulevard. And then some new gates along at the main entrance there for the event center. So just sprucing that up a little bit. And we'll be doing the majority of that work using our in-house landscaping crews for that.
Outstanding.
So this was, thank you for the time. This was information only. We just wanted to share with you what we accomplished last year with Measure S pavement, obviously. Got a little distracted on a couple of things, but I'm happy to engage with all that. So thank you for your support on all that. So Jay, off to the next section.
You ready? Okay.
Very ready.
We're always
Start
ready.
back to follow.
Except for us.
All right, speaking of an additional item, the final item I have for you is the BK Theater Edition. We're ready to award that project. So, in cooperation with TCTA, Tehachapi Community Theater Association, we are looking to improve the BK Theater by providing them a small addition in the rear of the building that they will then spend their own funds improving the inside for their functional use. The initial layout includes a couple dressing rooms and a storage area, but again, they're going to be doing the internal build out. We're going to give them the shell. And that's located, of course, at 110 South Green Street. So on November 27th, we advertised for this project. We opened bids on January 7th, only received one bid for JRM Construction. And that is a local gentleman runs that company that used to work for Aspen Builders. So he's a known entity to us. And we did review that contract in accordance with the Public Contract Code, and did find that bid responsive. From a fiscal standpoint, here's where a decision needs to be made. Design, environmental construction, and construction administration. The total budget was set at $143,000 for that. But because of the bid value that we got in, you can see that just the bid to the contractor is $139,000 and some change. And so we think that the overall budget is not, as currently in the budget, is not sufficient to complete this project, and is probably under by about $40,000, $39,500. We're in good shape financially, though, as you all well know, and so instead of holding this project and waiting on it, we thought we've already spoken with Hamed in the finance department about making sure that this budget adjustment would make it into the mid-year adjustment, which I think is due in a month or so. Don't quote me on that. I don't. I'm going to keep his own time. He's probably cringing back there if I gave him the wrong time. Anyway, and so we would like to proceed with the project with your approval, with the understanding that we will update this budget for this amount of money prior to the money being needed in the mid-year budget adjustment. And so with that, we recommend that you award the BK Theater Addition project to Go JRM Construction Incorporated for the amount of $139,752, and authorize the city manager to approve any necessary change orders up to a maximum of 20%, which is more than our normal request. That's because the size of the project is relatively small, and so 10% is not that much change order budget. So a maximum of 20% in this case of the construction costs are $27,950.40. And that concludes my report. I'd be happy to answer questions.
Do we have any questions from the public? Oh, okay. Council?
Okay, you said it was 139, but we need 40 more.
So total budget is 143. That's all the phases. What I have to pay the architect, what I have to pay all of my own staff to do their piece, because we budget and manage this, and so when an engineer is out inspecting, that goes on this job. So the total current budget's 143. The contractor's contract is 139,000. And so I still need in the budget space between what I'm paying the contractor and what I need to pay the architect and our crews. And so I need a total budget of approximately 182.6.
So why don't we approve the 182 instead of the 130? Is that what
You are effectively granting me that. All you're doing tonight is awarding the contractor to Go JRM. When we do the mid-year budget, we will reflect the higher total budget, and you will approve the 186 at that time.
That's what I was getting at, the difference between the 130,
whatever that number
the
is.
delta of 40K. Yeah. Okay. Understand.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to look, how much more are we gonna add to the back of the building?
Yeah, so if you go to the sketch,
I was trying-
Corey, it's,
right there.
here, I'll just step over there. It's just this box back here.
How many square feet?
300 to 400.
Okay,
It's not large. It's 15 by 20, roughly.
Directly behind the stage.
okay.
But
So it will basically go out to the parking lot there when you make?
Yeah, there's a little bit more space there. We have a concrete pad back
Right.
there that doesn't get used very much, and there's a trash enclosure that's there. And so we sort of nestled it in some of the available concrete area. So this is the trash enclosure right here.
Okay,
This is the curb and gutter, and this is all just concrete. And we just we put the biggest box we felt like we could fit in. There's some other utilities under there, so we were a little space limited. That's kind of the biggest box we thought we could fit in there.
okay. That's all I had.
Okay.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Anna, do you have any questions?
No, I think it's a good product.
I know the people at the community theater are excited about it, because it's not just being pushed up, it's being pushed out, it's being pushed up. So there's tons of things that they can do. And it just
They've let
opens
me
up.
know they're hoping to redo the stage at the
Yep.
same time they do the rest of it. So they have plans. They've been gathering and saving their pennies from all the shows they do. And so they have a number of things they'd like to do. And this is a big part of what they consider to be a much larger kind of expansion of the usability of space. They've spent a lot of time talking about the intricacy. I learned a lot about how to put on a show. And they've been explaining what they need. And so this
And I
is a big
think
part
Jay
of
is gonna audition.
I was just going to ask you,
Is that-
yeah.
that's
And
right.
what- yeah.
Hey, they already got Maya. That's
Yeah.
what Keith said. Maya's over there tonight
To be
because
or
we
not
had
to be.
interviewed
Right.
the TCTA group on a podcast. And we challenged her, and she accepted the challenge, and she won a part. So can't wait to see her.
Yeah.
They don't want,
Oh, Jay,
small,
you'd be great.
bald guys to do anything.
You never knew.
They have a part for every one of us.
Part for everyone.
I'm not really sure I want the part, but I'll probably do it. Anyway,
We get to pick the part.
Yeah, you get to pick, okay.
Oh, no.
Even better.
No, but they're
Twist.
excited. Big part of this is gonna be dovetailing the work with their production that's coming up. So I think we're a little further behind than we'd hoped to be. We'd hoped to be in construction by now. So we may, I'm gonna have to sit down with them and find out whether we let them do their next show before we start, or whether we can kind of make the two fit together. So we'll figure it out though.
All right.
They're a great partner, and they're super excited, and they're super thankful. So it's been a pleasure to work with them. So.
If you've never gone to a show, you need to go. We go to every one now, and my wife she always shares with me, she used to go to the movies when she was a little girl there.
Yeah.
So and every time we go, we have a great time.
Oh, we do. Yeah, I went to Oliver, or
Yeah.
not Oliver. It was the one before that. But
Yeah.
anyway, it's great. It's so perfectly small town. It's so perfectly us. I
Yes.
think that's what I like about
That's
it.
great.
Yeah.
Very good. All right.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll
I
second it.
Very good.
Councilmember Chung?
Yes.
Councilmember Davies?
Yes.
Councilmember Smith?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Howard?
Yes.
4-0 vote, motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jay.
Thank you.
Okay. City manager reports, please.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Power. Another great meeting, so thank you for your support on all of these different projects that we continue to work on to make the city a better place to live, work, and play. Just a couple items for you. Reminders, actually. Tomorrow, blood drive with Houchin Blood Bank. As you know, the city of Tehachapi is a major sponsor with Houchin, and there's a blood drive tomorrow on Wednesday at the Vineyard Church on Pinion Street. And that is from 10 to 4, correct?
Yes.
Also, a couple ribbon cuttings for new businesses within our city, and working closely with the Chamber of Commerce on these. Bell Speech Pathology, they're at 227 West D Street, kind of down almost near Mill Street. They'll have a ribbon cutting at 4 o'clock on Thursday, this Thursday, day after tomorrow.
You say near Mill on D?
On D, 227D, West D, near Mill.
So it's in a residential area?
Yes, it's a house.
Okay.
That has been through our general plan and
Sure.
our zoning, you're able to do that, right? We encourage that.
Yeah.
So it's a professional, it's a home that was redone into a professional setting.
Perfect. Yeah.
So really excited about that. In addition to that, we have Tehachapi. Their business that started on Tehachapi Boulevard, and they basically outgrew that space. They rented the corner there by Save Mart and Rite Aid, in that corner where Beano's used to be. Remember that, Phil? Beano's?
Yes.
Yeah, years and years ago.
Blockbuster Video.
Blockbuster Video.
Blockbuster.
Yeah, for the people.
Who said
that
that out
can
there?
relate, but it was Beano's back in my day. Nevertheless, they rented that, leased that facility, and they have occupied it and fixed it up. They have a beautiful new sign, and we wish them all the luck in the world because they're a growing business. So that's very exciting. Ribbon cutting Friday at 4 o'clock. I know that a couple of you will be attending those, so I appreciate the city has certificates of appreciation for them. And then Saturday, as you know, our partners with the Honor Flight. Every month, the Honor Flight has a breakfast at 8 o'clock in the morning at CLA, Christian Life Assembly, the church there on Valley Boulevard. I know that breakfast is open to all, and they welcome you to come in, and they honor the vets, and they're still collecting, obviously, funds, because they have two flights to Washington, D.C. every year, one in the fall and one in the spring. So Saturday morning, 8 o'clock, you can go there and have breakfast if you like.
Okay.
Thank you.
Councilman Davies, do you have a report?
No, just driving around town the other day and looking how beautiful everything looks, and finally got my front yard back with all the leaves out of my yard, and that was crazy, but just a lot of positive thoughts everybody I come in contact with about what we're accomplished as a council and our city staff, and it's just wonderful. It's just proud to be part of it. So that's all I have.
Just a little report from Current Cog at a meeting Thursday. Kern County is second in the state for using the funds that are allocated to Kern Council of Governments for transportation. So we're at 195%, means the projects around the county they're ready to go, they get utilized, the funds are not sitting there waiting on something. And we were only second to San Diego County, they're like 230%. They had some special projects or deals, or not, don't say deals, but they had some special, anyway, they were the first. So we're utilizing the funds is what I'm saying, which is a real good thing. Anybody go through what day was, Caltrans was doing some maintenance,
Excuse me.
crack sealing between Caliente and Hart Flat, but they used that time to do a study where they moved it to one lane just to see how traffic would do, because it's slated for the truck climbing lane construction. And they wanted to see if they could just get away with 18 months worth of one lane through there. What do you think? No. Anyway, they did their study. I was watching it because I actually had to go to Bakersfield that day and come back. And you could see on Caltrans maps, when it's orange, it's slowing down. When it's red, it gets really slow. And then it gets really dark, like black almost. That's where you just, and then you're moving ahead. It turned black after a while. So it was really pinched off. So there wasn't any report at that meeting yet as to the outcome of what they want to do. But we're going to have a meeting on the 31st with them. And I let it be known at the meeting that that's not going to fly. They also mentioned that going to construction in November or January 20 or sometime in 27. I said, hold on. We were supposed to be going to construction in 26. Spring of 26, correct? So we're going to have a discussion. Why has this? And I said, we keep getting bumped, keep getting bumped. And I saw in 2002 the Caltrans report from Caltrans that says they say we need truck climbing lanes. So I've been hammering this home ever since I've been on there, since '94. So
It's like
anyway,
Dennis exit.
I want to be around where they put a shovel in the ground, at least for one of the segments. So it's funded from Caliente to Hart Flat on this round, and so we got to get a clarification, because at the same time they're doing this, there's construction, a rehab from Tehachapi to Caliente, or all the way to General Beale. Anyway, there's a big rehab of Highway 58 westbound, and we're going to have a discussion why you would be pinching one lane off. There's talk of, like they did from Mojave to Roseman, they just shifted everybody over onto one side. It was one lane, north and south over there. I think that's what they want to do here, but it's not going to fly with trucks coming up the hill, and you get one truck that just stalls. How are you going to get a record to it? And it's just going to be a disaster. So that was my comment Thursday night. That'll be my comment on the 31st. And Shannon Grove or her representative will be there?
I spoke with Senator Shannon Grove and Congressman Vince Hong about this specific topic over the weekend. Shannon Grove will be joining us.
Good.
So we appreciate her time, and she feels the same way we do. I know that CHP Commander Maria is of the same accord, meaning no one supports one lane. And then, keeping on schedule. So we'll know a lot more a week from Friday after our updated meeting with Caltrans.
Okay.
And Senator Grove will be joining us.
By Zoom or whatever?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, if I don't bring it up at this meeting on the 31st with Caltrans, how are we doing with the right-of-way in that area?
We'll find out.
Yeah, I don't have an update.
Okay,
Find out.
all right. So I understand though that they had hired a consultant to do a lot of the engineering work in District 9 out of Bishop, and they sat for a year to get anything done, then they moved it over to District 6. And now it's like 33% completed on the design. So anyway, stay tuned. I keep letting them know that we're going to have this. And thank you to Senator Grove. We wouldn't have had it without her. So anyway.
Councilman Fong? Sorry, me? Yeah, sorry.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. So, to add to Phil's comment about the Kern County being the second in California utilizing the grant. And I'm sure that Jay and our city staff has a lot to do with the utilizing that grant.
Yes.
With ready to go project, project ready, project and being prepared. And I am so proud of what we are doing and our staff. Another thing is I see whenever I see when people visit here from out of town or mostly LA or even out of state, then I usually tell them that this is a small city, but very well run and financially very solvent little city that is very scarce, in the size of our city. And I'm always very proudly that I can brag about our little city and our staff. And I just wanted to tell the staff that, wanted to tell them, keep up the good work.
Okay, for mine, on February 5th, leaders of the various art commissions will be meeting to see how we can help each other, from the Symphony, the Tehachapi Arts Commission, Tehachapi Valley Arts Association, the Tehachapi Community Theater, to see how we can help promote each other. So that's going to be very exciting. The murals are, we're just waiting for the weather to warm up, and the murals will be completely restored, hopefully.
Excellent.
And we are going to have one heck of a celebration when we are finished with the people of the Nua Mountain mural.
Wow.
So that's it. I will say one of the great things that makes Tehachapi fantastic, and I've always said this, is the strong voluntary presence that we have. We have such a strong volunteer presence, and that really is a differential. And because they save the city money, but they also are the first to identify a problem in the community. And with that, I'd just like to thank you two ladies very much for applying for the position, and I look forward to getting a resolution, as I'm sure you do as well. And I just really greatly appreciate your time and effort and your decision to apply. So thank you very much. With that, I think we are ready for closed session. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. And next time I won't be I won't come in so hot. I'll slow it down.
You did very good.
I'll slow it down.
You did absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay.
And
We
they're
are
just in
closed.